Relying on an ex after her most recent podcast, Johannah Duggar Forsyth became an internet sensation. The 26-year-old recounted several tragic family events, particularly the breakdown that occurred after the publication of Jill and Jinger's books. But it also helped her understand her religion better. Johannah also brought up her family's dreadful dating habit. Find out what it was by continuing to read. On the Unplanned podcast, Johannah discussed a difficult period in her family's history. The former counting on star claims that writing their books against the Evil Pete was a major source of stress for Jill and Jinger. She reflected on the difficult period for her parents and siblings, saying, "My siblings and my parents and all this stuff was super hard at that time." Her parents were under scrutiny for months after the memoirs were published. The mom of three even admitted to wondering whether their family's ordeal was genuine. On the other hand, she felt grateful that reading her sister's autobiographies had helped her to better understand her own ideas. On the same podcast, Johannah Duggar Forsyth discussed her family's dreadful dating tradition. The ex-counting-on actress claims that her father would often field hundreds of suitors for his daughters, including some incarcerated individuals. Michelle had to read letters from strangers almost every day, as she would later disclose. "My mom would read them first because she thinks, 'This is weird,' then we all laugh about it," she said. In the meanwhile, Austin let out that Jim Bob does some screening on potential suitors for his daughters. He made the comment, "This is obviously when the show was still blown and going," and said that Jim Bob wanted to build a connection with him for around 2 months before he could ask him to be his daughter's father. Johannah Duggar Forsyth revealed the first time she and Austin disobeyed a courting guideline on the same podcast. After Austin wrecked his vehicle, the former counting on star claims she held his hands for 15 minutes. It was reported to their dad by Johannah's brother, and Jim Bob and one of his sons were there. According to Johannah, her father seemed to be displeased. However, it seems that the occurrence did not cause it to become a major issue. One of the stars of the hit TLC reality show Counting On, Johannah Duggar, recently spoke up about an unusual family dating custom that has people talking. Johannah followed the stringent courting standards that have always been characteristic of the Duggar family's faith-driven lifestyle as she grew up in the infamously conservative Duggar household. But in an open discussion, Johannah remembered the emotional difficulties and strains of this custom, illuminating the toll it had on her and her siblings. For those who aren't aware with the Duggar family, know that they have always placed a strong emphasis on traditional Christian principles, especially in respect to interpersonal interactions. Johannah Duggar was raised by parents Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, who imposed strict rules on their children about dating or courtship. Courtship, according to the Duggars, is a planned and monitored courting process with marriage as the ending. Parental consent, limited physical contact, beyond hand-holding, and continual chaperones are hallmarks of this dating style, which varies from more traditional approaches. Several of the Duggar children went through the custom of courting. Johannah is now married to Austin Forsyth and has 3 children of her own. But after giving it some more thought, she realized how much worry and tension it brought her. In a recent interview, Johannah said that she had always believed that courting was meant to serve as a means of protection and guidance in making judgments that were holy and righteous. But when you're young and trying to figure out your emotions, it can feel like a lot of pressure. Chaperones were an essential part of the Duggar courting protocol, which set them apart from other families. No Duggar kid could ever be left alone with their love partner during a courtship. Always there to maintain responsibility and prevent any improper physical contact were siblings, parents, or even close family friends. At times, Johannah felt as if she were being smothered by this continual oversight. There was always someone keeping tabs on us. Having a quiet opportunity to really converse and get to know Austin was challenging since she always felt like someone was eavesdropping. We go out to dinner or go on walks, and there would always be someone with us. Although the purpose of chaperones was to ensure that relationships remained pure and centered on God, Johannah acknowledged that it exacerbated an already stressful situation. "It was like you were always on display," said her. "There was no room to just be yourself." Prohibiting physical love before marriage is perhaps the most notorious rule of the Duggar courtship. Duggar courtship strongly prohibited displays of love like kissing or holding hands as a pair became closer, in contrast to more traditional dating practices. Even side hugs were confined to very short durations. According to Josh Duggar, Joy brother Anna's of Anna, a more appropriate approach to meet someone than with a frontal embrace, which might lead to temptation. As Joy Anna's connection with Austin intensified, she found this restriction especially challenging. You long to convey your emotions, yet you find it impossible, she said. It's really hard when you love someone and want to show them, even in small ways. But you're not allowed to. She recounted a trying time when Austin was packing up for a lengthy vacation just before they were engaged. I was forbidden from doing the one thing I really wanted to do, embracing him and telling him how much I would miss him. She expressed her frustration by saying that it seemed strange. Johanna was conflicted about going against her heart and her family's standards since she couldn't show her adoration the way she wanted. Parental supervision is constant in Duggar courtships. The importance of her parents, particularly her father Jim Bob, in keeping tabs on Johanna's connection with Austin was something that she reflected on. Almost every stage of the process involves Jim Bob, from sanctioning the courting to establishing limits. Even while the Duggars meant well by their overprotectiveness of their children, it often stifled what ought to have been a healthy maturation of emotions. There was always this feeling that my parents had to approve of everything, said Johanna. It wasn't just about me and Austin, it was about meeting their expectations too. Johanna also said that she had moments of self-doubt due to this omission. You start wondering if you really love this person or if you're just trying to follow the rules, according to her. It's hard to separate your own emotions from what you've been told you should feel. Johanna has had the opportunity to contemplate her upbringing's customs since she wed Austin and had a family of her own. She has adopted a more laid-back attitude to relationships, particularly with her own children, although she still holds many of the principles important. I think there are parts of courtship that were good for me, like having a strong foundation of faith, said Johanna. On the other hand, there are certain aspects that I would like not see passed on to future generations. I want kids to know that they can be completely honest with us about how they're feeling, without fear of constant judgment or surveillance. She went on to say that she and Austin still place a high importance on being a pure and Christian couple, but that they also want to provide a safe space for their kids to be themselves. I want my kids to know that it's okay to have emotions and that they can talk to us about anything, even if it's messy or complicated, according to her. Many people who also came from conservative Christian homes may relate to Johanna's openness about her family's dating norms. Even though the Duggars instituted the wooing process to shield themselves from what they saw as the perils of contemporary dating culture, Johanna's story exemplifies the psychological difficulties that may arise from imposing such stringent rules. It was challenging, but it had a profound impact on my identity, Johanna added. I've learned to take the best parts of what my parents taught me and leave behind the parts that didn't work for me. Johanna is a devout Christian who, as a wife and mother, is able to adjust her upbringing to meet the demands of her family without compromising her beliefs. She is following in the footsteps of her siblings by being open about the difficulties she had as a member of the Duggar family during their traditional courting rituals. But she is also staying true to the principles that have always guided her.